All right, we continue the breakfast show where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV. Oteluna Alea said today, now this edition of the breakfast show, where they can look at plenty things them we get for do with drugs. This, for the past 2 years, the country don't be under the radar as allegation and other media, especially the international media, don't they report about an individual where the Netherlands government they consider say a fugitive, and then they look for is supposed for go stand trial for plenty cases them where it don't commit, especially drugs and murder. This particular individual, they can call him Bello Jos, and according to the Inspector General of Police, the last way he come out and give updates to the media, he said then sabi this person as Omar Sharif. For then be don't put out investigation for no outside this particular individual day, and the Netherlands government be don't communicate to the Salon government, say therefore extradite this particular individual, send them back to the Netherlands, let it go serve in jail time. And over the weekend, we all see waiting unfold as a particular individual then alleged say na Bello Johnson in law, then be extradite from Dubai go to Turkey. And all of these, they na the public media. And yesterday, the Immigration Department put out a press release informing the public, say then they investigate an allegation where say this particular individual where they extradite from Dubai, all a Salon diplomatic passports. Well, evidence not there out there. We don't reach out to the authority them for come and confirm whether Salon diplomatic passports they are the individual they are so they are. And also we don't see another substance we don't become very dangerous when a kush allegation of certain people there where they bring this particular kush can the country. Don't they out there in the public, the police say then they do some arrest, certain people in the stand trial in a court because they allege say they catch there with this substance and now then you bring the substance can the country. So they can unpack all of them things there today. Now the studio we get Melvin Tejan Mansaray, where now a journalist and also a social commentator. Good morning, Melvin.
Thank you very much for having me, ladies and family.
All right, so the question we'll ask today, now the fight against drugs. Who that the full who that? Governments, in fact, President Bio declared an emergency on Kush, and we don't see press release upon press release talking about measures they wouldn't be put in place, especially where it campaign. The scandal with out there about Sierra Leone harboring a drug fugitive. Firstly, from an international perspective, Sierra Leone as a country going through all of them scandal there, what do you mean?
Thank you very much. From an international perspective, I think we should look at global institutions that are fighting the war on drug or cartel. And it is very clear from the reports of the United States Bureau on Drug and Narcotics that Sierra Leone remains as from the time when they do the survey, it's a shipment hub, meaning that Sierra Leone is a conduit. Though we cannot be qualified as a narco state, it still means that if things are not done as promised, we'll come to us shortly within the president be saying in June 2024 on the task force on drugs and all those interventions, Sierra Leone might slip into a narco state. And if Sierra Leone becomes a narco state, then technically we are a failed state. That means our democratic institutions have failed. So it's serious as per what the United States Department is saying as to what is happening here. But also there's this serious indictment on corruption and weak institutions and the judiciary not only being overwhelmed, but also their susceptibility when it comes to being influenced. All of these are real-time issues. But if we want to talk about the issue in general, I think it should be coming from two fronts: personal and institutional. Institutional, that's where government comes into place. That's where international organizations comes into play. And that's where the police, that's where TOCO, that's where NDLA, and all these institutions, Ministry of Health comes into play. But when it comes to the personal, it's about the decision. Of course, there are societal issues with unemployment, there are societal issues, all those things. But it's a decision that one must personally take that, well, when it comes to drug, there is what is called drug prevention, treatment, rehabilitation. There are stages with it. But for me, I think honestly, if we want to address the issue, we must look at the prevention. And unfortunately, President Bio announced a task force on drug. However, 1 year after, we've not seen any reports, we've not seen any recommendation, we don't know much about this. And for me, I'll be premising my conversation here to this morning on the political front because I'm a political journalist. And I think I'll be examining whether there is enough political willingness, which I don't think there is. I'm seeing more of rhetoric and theory rather than policy actions. And until and unless those things are done, we are still just, I'll call what is called, we are making a lipstick approach to the fight against drug and cartel. So it's worrisome, and internationally, the image of the country for a government that says it's not only building human capital development, but it's rebranding the image of the country with numerous or even countless travelings of the president and his entourage, and yet still Sierra Leone is again on the news globally for being involved, allegedly or otherwise, when it comes to drug. And importantly so, our documents are being seen in the hands of those persons that are believed to be drug barons and drug lords.
Melvin, from waiting you don't say and waiting you don't see since President Bio declared the issue of drugs as an emergency, as a nation, are we fighting drugs genuinely as it's supposed to be?
Again, that's a very serious question, and I will use to answer your question, I will look at a certain paragraph that the president said in his speech, where he mentioned, time is up, there will be no sacred cows. Apparently, if it comes to that issue of whether they are sacred cows or whether the time is up, as was said by President Bio, I think that is the reverse. And I'll quote it if you allow me, Madam Presenters. President Bio say inside address on the issue, he say basically he was talking about firstly the address on April 2024, April 4th 2024, and a national address by, as you don't see, on the national drug substance and abuse epidemic. Let's underline that word. If it's an epidemic, so many issues there. Khadija, before I come to the first point, President Bio bin say that in address, they say the National Task Force. Let me just revert and let people able get the context before. I understand after the show, maybe they're going to be short clips, so I don't want to be misconstrued or skewed in whether they say Naya. They say in point 8. It's my solemn duty as your president, acting on the powers conferred on me by the Constitution, to declare a national emergency on drug and substance abuse. It continues, with this national emergency on drugs and substance abuse, we shall broaden the scope of the government task forces work and adopt a multifaceted approach to address the increasing Kush epidemic. Pay attention here. Point 12. The National Task Force will be responsible for implementing a 5-part strategy for a drug-free future, which includes prevention, care and treatment, social service support, law enforcement, community engagement. And there is this killer paragraph that it says, the time is up for, I'll quote it, point 29. At the same time, I say to anyone who is involved in the production, trafficking, and illicit trade of these drugs that your time is up. There shall be no sacred cows in our quest to decisively deal with those who are caught in the act of peddling these drugs in our country. So the point to your question, whether there have been sacred cows, as per suspicion, as per allegations, as per common belief, there is this thing that under this administration, there have been more sacred cows, even if they are rare, but more sacred cows when it comes to this perception of persons involved in importation, distribution of drugs. So I think this defeats President Bio. He said time is up, but this is 1 year on. The problem still is ravaging. So we can ask, was it just a political rhetoric or was it a politically action-oriented statement?
Melvin, then sacred cow there where you talk about,
say... No, we talk about them. Where President Bio talk about?
Then sacred cow there where you mention. We don't see the police, when are the law enforcement body. Don't they make arrest? But the sacred cow them, what do you think say they protect them? Is it political protection or financial protection? What are they using? We make up till now. Then people there, so the police not able to bring them to book.
It's a combination of both, political and financial. These are politically exposed persons, as we've seen in few cases, and financially exposed persons because the drug trade is a wealthy business. But that is not the point. Your question goes to a bigger point. Khadija, if you go back to the ACC website, back then, I think a year ago, they issued a statement on this, in which they mentioned the impact of drugs on the shadow economy, as they will put it. But what we've not seen from the ACC, because there is a nexus. The nexus there is unexplained wealth or illicit wealth goes with this kind of criminal enterprises, be they drug, human trafficking, or whatever. So if the ACC itself admitted, go to that website and see, they in fact indicted the security law enforcement on perceptions around corruption which they are involved in. So if the ACC itself cannot investigate unexplained wealth on some of, be they politically exposed or financially exposed persons, that in itself is an issue. So speaking to the broader problem there on who are these persons, they are firstly financially exposed and politically exposed. But what keeps them composed is corruption.
So this cartel where President Bio make mention of, is it that they're powerful to the point that even the police not able to scatter the cartel?
Because of corruption. And also lack of political willingness from in the President Bio himself. Because you must practice what you preach. If you have a situation wherein no less a person, but your own daughter is in question with alleged association with somebody that is being declared wanted or sought, you have the personal latitude as the president to use that as a case study to say, I'm not in support or favor or condone this in any way. But if that thrives, instead of going after those kind of persons, then we see state institutions giving them 2 names to disqualify them. As at yesterday or the other day, we seen foreign minister saying, oh, there has not been any formality of or complaint. You see the government is hiding behind bureaucracies, red tapes, and institutions to not come out. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous not only for the economy, but it's a government that says it wants to build human capital development. How can you be building human capital development, sending a lot of kids to school, for at the end of the day, by the time they reach from 6, kush don't make they don't come out of school, or other drugs don't remove them.
That will bring me to the next question I want to pose to you. With all of them things there where you don't talk about, the Bio-led government really serious for fet drugs, and also they're really serious for wipe this stain where they on Salon, especially back-to-back international media them, they report on these particular issues, and also publication, and they out there, international journalists, they don't deny this country for a very long time where they do undercover investigations. Me and you know, say most of them journalists that they can reach out to we the local journalists them for help them facilitate their reporting.
You question, hanging on your lips, whether the President Bio government is serious. So you are provoking me to reply by that. From the actions, which if time permits, will catalog from just to others, it seems as if the government is not just not serious, but the government is playing cook when it comes to the fight against drugs. They are not only serious, but they are being deceptive, using fine languages, using occasions, using events, and purportedly using some financial projections on the fight. Seriousness in the fight against drugs begins with political willingness. I am not saying President Bio should be like Rodrigo Duterte in the Philippines, who now faces international criminal court indictments for his overreaching activities on the fight against drugs. But what we've not seen is that punitive deterrence from your question, Mabel. We mean say the power it don't gains. President Bio seem for don't tell we say the drug cartel big pass in government. Technically, President Bio is saying he has failed on the war on drugs and cartel. Somebody say, I watch. I mean, in fact, I will search for that video because I want for use as one of my references. I'm very scripted, but because of it's a conversation, I would just want. So President Bio also apologized to Sierra Leone that he don't fail on the war on drugs. If you go tell international community, not local, international, where there are other non-Sierra Leoneans and others, it might be a Sierra Leonean function, but anything that happen now first world, it is covered by the state. If you are saying that it's $1 billion business, it's a big cartel, so it means to say, technically we've slipped into a narco state, wherein the state institutions cannot fight the war on drugs. So President Bio, if we're having a formidable opposition, they should be asking him to resign, a vote of non-confidence. Because last year ago, you were telling Parliament that, oh, you are consolidating efforts and all that and rehabilitation, and now you are coming to tell diasporans, not even Sierra Leoneans. That is an injustice to the sovereignty, the integrity, and the intelligence of Sierra Leoneans.
Usai the state authorities, including the political will we be the talk about from President Bio, lose grip on the fight against drugs.
Law enforcement, the judiciary, and above all, the political willingness. Go and read the U.S. State Department's reports. They're indicting. SEC reports itself is indicting. Let me just, if you permit me, you know, these days I'm not going to be boring for me viewers because I'm very scripted. And when you look at the ACC, they are in their statement, they are saying that the perception is that the law enforcement are also in connivance with some of this cartel. But what the ACC not tell me now that whether they ever get mind for go over some of these, whether they are politically or financially exposed persons, for go to the bottom. So it's an institutional problem. I agree, it's multifaceted, but if you don't have the political willingness to stamp it out.
This political willingness we talk about now, waiting exactly unpack them for the viewers.
Political willingness, now waiting you talking for doing. This government's waiting and talking doing. Go and read the statements of the president and go and read other policy statements on the issue. Let me ask yourself one simple one: the rehabilitation centers. What's the status of their operation right now?
None is working. Based on waiting they tell we are the other day.
So is that political willingness? Is that political seriousness? Is that political correctness for a government that is investing huge capital on human capital development? So there is lack of semblance of political willingness, just rhetoric, theory, and lack of reality on the ground.
When we look at the statements you make, say President Bio don't fail in the fight against drugs in the country, and how bad Salone look right now na the international stage when it comes to drugs and other drug-related issue them. Going back, one go on for argue, you say, not a President Bio fail, but rather the people the way he puts before na state institution them. We don't see this person with the Netherlands government put out a picture, say, na in the Bello just where they look for, involved in a fight, na a nightclub, where inside that video, the former immigration officer, Bidede, would also see a video outside the former immigration officer allegedly it is celebrating 50th birthday. A.M. Bello just they exchange gifts. We see the current head of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, where we at the immigration department. Now a video with this same person where the Netherlands government they allege say na in and they look for and na in the salon. So is it that President Bio for blame or na the individual the way he puts for work na the state institution there?
Who began the one at Sierra Leone Special Court? You know, I make them put them in Ghana and then for this and call them all behind bars. And say, would I carry the greatest responsibility? President Bio carries the crown. He's the fountain of honor. He's the guardian of the constitution. He's the primus inter pares. For God blame Bello Jos, Kane and others, it's secondary. It's a diversionary. Now, like, where would it be cowardized? If we want to speak truths to power, now President Bio will for blame say it don't fail. When you remove them people and they under their suspicion, what do you do there? It just pull them up. In fact, some man they upset them will put them back. So who takes blame for that? If you for now remove some of the people and subject them to investigation, and an investigation report is published, whether they're guilty or not, we're not saying they're guilty, but you just remove them and nothing is done about that. Is that political commitment to which you say they ravage the young people of the country. That is a political rhetoric. And Khadija, I want to encourage you now for watch this latest documentary. It's called 2 + 2 = 5. It's a screen adaptation of George Orwell, where politicians tell you, say, 1 + 1. You know what I mean? 2. So the president will say, oh, I'm committed to the fight. It's just a rhetoric. He has failed. Let anybody from the administration come and challenge me that he has failed. I stand for being fact-checked. I stand for argue on this. President Bio has failed. Based on what he say and what they happy now. Firstly, the biggest failure is a time done. In fact, now the drug business they on one mopping. The game not even started from what we see. I was talking to a medical person, confidential. He said on importation of tramadol, there is a report to be published that $42 million has been spent on importation, illegal importation of tramadol. I said, Brian, you give me this information. He said, hey, Melvin, if I get that information, I will get problem on my job.
But the question now is, there's a task force. President Bio himself now he set up this task force, and with all the task force where they exist for fight against the substance here, every now and then when you talk to medical practitioner them, you talk to people them where they come in contact with young people who they take them drugs there, then go begin they tell you about new drugs them wouldn't they invent. So is the task force really working? Or them pronouncements there where President Bioki make, like for example, he make a pronouncement say don't set up a task force. He make a pronouncement say he don't declare as an emergency. Now just talk for talk's sake.
Follow up, Nodi. And of course, I don't want to attack nobody. But I mean, attack personalities in the institution. If we have a robust office of the chief minister, I should be following up on that. But let me come. That is secondary. Now, Khadija, you don't make it easy for the government. So to task force he begin from. All right, family, that's all now waiting President Bio for say. It's a form a presidential advisory team that they supervise the task force. So, Khadija, the first question: where is the presidential supervisory team on the task force?
So why is it coming out? They talk about these particular measures, them saying that they put as a precedent for solve this problem.
Because perhaps the media and civil society were not robust enough. If we are setting the agenda. Like one of our sisters set agenda say 1 week they talk on the drugs, we see how somebody will call himself so they come back. We should be more thematic on these issues because if we not go for follow up and go remind President Bio what he say, whether I manifesto now or policy statement now or address to parliament, then instead of Motamano, na politician, they can talk. But if we remember say President Bio, now this should be say quote and verbatim to verbatim. We don't deal with the one who they come begin talk for President Bio. Those are not for me. Those are not the target. The target is the president himself because he makes the ultimate decision. So if you say you don't form task force, ask yourself when President Bio sit down with this task force. Let me tell you, say this task force, according to the report for the Sudan, every week. When last they sit down? Waiting at the last minute of the meeting. Waiting at the last day when they get public engagement. Who are the members of this task force? Not the committee and the task force. Who are the member there? Who are the head there? Who's the secretariat there? So when politicians make 2 + 2 statements = 5, I don't buy it. President Bio was just making a rhetoric, and I think he has not only failed, he is continuously failing on the war of drugs, and that might be one of the most, what I would call, the biggest blight of his legacy. That there is a proliferation of drug and the cartel in Sierra Leone under the watch of President Bio. It will be a negative legacy behind him. So he should be very, very proactive. Because so far they have been reactive. Proactive means go after what's wrong, and in this case, institutions that are weak, strengthen them. Persons that are believed to be the barons, go after them, the importations, strengthening the weak border and seaports and airports, improve the morale of the workers there. Because if, imagine just appear, societies like Angi, let's say $100 million. We send the one no budget for the institution or rich than they. Don't you think those people are going to compromise? So let them get also the adequate resources in the fight. But above all, I cannot run away from this political willingness. Like you do all Landy. One call from above. If you say call from above, that fits them effects. No, we don't do for let arrest all man. But one call from above can negate
call
that.
From above. When the latest incidents come public, we get to do with the Salon diplomatic passports. Where then send out somebody and again regarding drugs. Plenty people be the one that say that moment where the news break, if we serious as a nation, then we expect it and go hear it from the government, for example. Not until yesterday evening where we see the immigration department issue a statement. Just and say the president asked them for set up investigation again into this same issue. Taking into consideration the time frame from when the incidents came public to yesterday, let's just draw your attention to the second paragraph that they released. It said the government and Sierra Leone Immigration Department view the allegations with utmost seriousness. I underline the word seriousness, protecting the integrity of Sierra Leone's diplomatic privileges and reputation in top priority. Is that what is happening? Then say then take this with utmost seriousness.
This is a classic, low-cost classic cause of the failure of the government. Why immigration need for wait till President be tell for mounts an investigation on serious allegation? And by the way, for help government small, I think the foreign minister yesterday put out a statement in which he's saying that, oh, there is no formal notification to the effect. I think that's the secondary now saying that they are investigating. The government is proactive. No, they are reactive. Is there anything serious going to come out of it? I doubt it. Because this is not the first time these things have been set up. At the end of the day, we don't know. I think this is a subtle way where the government they use for massage and kill the issue here. Now, with this go for date says and say 1 to 3 months, look how the advisory and the supervisory committee die. Natural death of unknown. Now, so this bag. So it shows the lack of what is called programmatic approach. There was supposed to be a comprehensive plan. If you look at what President Bio and other documents are saying, a holistic, the word they use, holistic comprehensive plan, including Ministry of Health, Ministry of Social Welfare, ask yourself, is there any comprehensive plan by this government on the fight against drug and cartel? Or let's limit it to drug? So the president is just making statements, he's not backing them with words, and he's deceiving Sierra Leoneans and parents. Not everything happening in Salon. People are with picking this up when they say, I swear no more they swear. They swear. And that's why not only one and normal way the couch and way they affect. So they affect the country. Swear any society swear for them. It's serious. I see come together every day. I do business at Kuto Road. I live at New England. I do business. I interact with ghetto boys. Again, let me just say it. I think so we need to legalize ghetto in this country. This is a radical statement. Somebody was waiting to mean. We need to legalize ghetto them because if we not legalize ghetto, the other countries are talking about decriminalization or legalization. We know almost ghetto, for example, in our Brookfields. We know say, may his soul rest in peace, Tony, with the guy. We know say Tony, now get Felix ghetto. We register all ghetto. All ghetto, you know say you have to go monitor and inspect who's kind of drug that they sell. Because this year, I'm not going to run away from Mao. And nobody's talking about the radical inclusion aspect of it. We like it or not. Ghetto then they exist. All the approaches now that they use, engagement and all this, we need to bring them ghetto owner on board. Either we look at the legal framework saying that we change their name from ghetto to other thing, but when the same thing will happen, we must radically include them because at the end of the day, then ghetto then they some of them go sit down. And you will make any policy, action or program where they involve ghetto. This is the hypocrisy of our society. You didn't go in our office for solve social problems. Yeah, you can go there behind your computer and do the strategies. So for me, I think we need an inclusive but radical approaches towards this. This year, I will not go to blind, and if we say we look at political willingness no more, we will continue to fail, and communities must be involved.
Melvin, let we look at reports that we don't come out. Usai allegedly, this Belojos, it don't even buy SUV motorcadem, supply to the immigration department. They don't even buy SUV motorcadem, give to minister them as gifts. Now, we don't talk to plenty government people and they deny and say they're not sabi Belojos. The presidential spokesman, now one person where we host and I will ask him for Belojos, he say no sabia. The police spokesman who don't ask him, he say no sabiam. They don't even know who say Belojos day. Genuinely, as a social commentator, you think say the people are within a position of authority, they're honest enough with this denial when they deny say they're not sabi Belojos, somebody where they see very, very close with the president at a church?
I don't think so, and it is deliberate for let the threat they continue, for let people still they die, for let the epidemic they continue. It's deliberate because as President Bio don't say people and again from her. Unfortunately, the waiting President Bio not do. And that he will not use a case of links allegedly to Inyo Os as a deterrent. That is allegedly. They say Bello Jos. In fact, they watch one report last night where they say, in fact, they don't give allegedly the president picking Bele don't born at some country allegedly, and if that's not the case, Chief, where you want to make law old now, you also watch in the begin. If Bello Jos allegedly involved, and the president or the president office has never come out to say this is true or not true, that the president picking get connection with her, that is a must. Even if it's not an official business, the office of the president or the family of the first family, the spokesperson for can say that is true or not. If that is not true or true, and it still remains ambiguous and unknown, then the president BOSSF is vicariously liable. Because you never go after other people there, don't allegedly you won't pick in a man. Ebo, who does that? So the president now can tell you whether not true for saying picking a man with Bello Jos or not, or in family spokesman or anybody. Nobody never tell you that. So we are left to just linger in suspicion. That in itself is a disservice. If not true, why you not can say not true? Something like you say, silence means consent. So the silence of the presidency and the first family when it comes to that particular guy is a serious matter. Because other people will not go forget if that man they at floats, and now it's there now. Secondary, they say that now in brother law or in law. So the drug trade return becomes a monarchy under President Bio. And it's scary. It's a monarchy. And a family name also they be stained, allegedly or truthfully. And he has not come out seriously. And Bello Jos will continue to become a problem. Because he's a global phenomenon. And anybody will link to her and look this happening information about diplomatic passports in law in hand. I go don't get her if it's not about political influence or financial influence.
The international media, especially the Dutch media, they report say Bello Jos they enjoy state protection as alone. You agree with that?
The fact they're not able for adduce as a journalist. The last time we tell you say we are journalists. So me and I don't know if you know white man journalists or black man journalists. Journalists are held to a global standards. If you are saying they enjoy state protection and there is a hula baloo now whether he owns a diplomatic passport or not, I am not a spokesman for APC or SLPP or government or not. He who asserts must prove. Those international institutions must come out with print out attesting the fact that he enjoys, one of which I'm sure they are alluding to Khadija, is alleged holding of diplomatic passports. If that is the case, if that's not the case, let's talk about Creole family. That means say that too, you know, only enjoy political support, it enjoys state support, as said. So that is not clarified, and the government is not speaking about it. So it just lends some credence to the allusion that yes, this might be the case. Although the international institution and they say get right to prove and say President Bio family they involved, which nobody here, nobody not do yet. Be it on Admire Bio and nobody not come with that Anas Arimio and that kind of investigation showing, apart of unexplained wealth, we not get any evidence right now. So we need some kind of rugged investigative journalism, like that way OCCPR do on the state of the drug national for expose. Because alone, if you know as a long journalist, you want to do that investigation and they enough on you for ready for be deported.
From where they allege say Bello Jos in this country, few signs don't they come up of few unknown ship them when they see na the Salon water, but at some point the police can go again do investigation and say they not find nothing when of interest. Now pointed and dandy.
It just talk about state protection. Exactly. How ship go ride himself can park na corner. You know, left me do a strand in a corner and then go meet the ship empty. Empty ship they move. These things are just the illogic of governance way some of we need for expose. The statement not add up at all, and it just indicts and implicates the police, like how ACCB don't say before, that law enforcement, the Guinea people are so solace, and a very, very enforcement. But it goes back to political willingness. If there was political willingness, one ring call, they pull all the people away that are boots there, we said them going all. Because there is lack of political willingness, these are the problems. So the police, I think, for me, it goes beyond the police. They can do more, but if the hand where they feed there, not ready for disconnect, perceivably, I don't think the police can do much.
But the police a compromising job in this case because we see where the issue been starts. The IG himself, we don't address the public through the Ministry of Information, but since then we're not hearing that again. Are they compromising their job because of orders from above?
Orders from above might be secondary. There are lots of evidence that persons in law enforcement are involved in this business. So they are not only compromised. They are, yes, they are.
Where the evidence?
Hey, you not see video that it's where officer they high on drug. You don't see, but reports where persons involved in law enforcement are complementing the efforts of criminals, particularly in drug trade. It's there. But I guess what you are saying is fact. The media, including Liberty, for commission and underground investigative reports, bringing out, because the government not going to ever accept, say, they know or they don't know. But it's the media and civil society for bringing out this tangible evidence. But certainly, law enforcement cannot be exonerated in this one. So but it's above law enforcement, and that's where political will comes into play. That policeman, imagine one ordinary constable, or one sergeant, or one even LUC go arrest just now. How much calls you will get? It's just natural. So if that person will not get calls and say, then we will so let's see where this will end. We appreciate your efforts. That man never afraid for a job. Since that person don't serve for 20-25 years for one incident, you know, I lost his job. So even when we are saying they are complicit, well, in fact, the environment they follow, they will do their work properly. Because they will do their work properly, some of these law enforcement are involved. This I will say it without any fear. Some of them are involved, either in the distribution or in the supply or in the sales. They are there. Public records are there. If not lie, let we go to communities. Let we ask how much people are wear uniform when they involve pan-drug business. Communities know. So, I mean, the next thing is, also them for go reports. Waiting will come out of it. Also, and for example, in the community, we get a place where we call common ground. We don't go report, say, wakush. Anything they say, hey, with the car. So now, past the community level take upon itself, we take the law into our hands for fights. So, at the end of the day, who knows? I cannot make any suspicion, but what if, and say the person will go report, and go meet and I will steady there. We will go report, now we now then will see as the enemy.
So if this kind of trend they continue, and these fights against drugs, institutions were supposed to hold people accountable, allegedly involved as well. Also, you the forces alone pan the fight against drugs.
We might slip into a narco state, as I said earlier on, and that will be bad. It will mean that we are a failed state. It means that democracy is irrelevant. Institutions are not working. And there is a threat to drug and peace. If you look at the TRC reports. Drug now be one of the field where the RUF or by then SLA them be used for morale for be brutal more. And if we're having a pandemic or an epidemic as then they call it, then it's serious. That means the peace itself fragile. That means they say the economy might collapse. Because at the end of the day, these illicit activities, if they make money boku pass the country, that means that they control the country. And the ACC talk about that. The dark economy. So it's very serious that it will be one of the most terrible legacies of the SLPP and President BO. And this might be an election issue. If we have a formidable opposition, this might be a campaign issue. Look at what the do's and the don'ts, the pros and the cons, and come and tell Sierra Leoneans. They will believe you if you have a strong case. So this drug problem is not just a social, health, economic, security, but it's a political issue that might even kick the SLPP out of power if they don't take it seriously. Sierra Leoneans come brother and they swear every day, from Dovecot to Hill Station to wheresoever you go, come brother and the money, any money and they go to the bearers of the responsibility, but also swear you know the cross water. Now the country back you go for them. So we must be very serious because the future of the country, not just the youth, but the state institution itself might collapse and we might be a failed state.
Melvin, how you go describe the approach where the police do use so far in bringing to book people them where then they suspect say na the manufacturer there or na the importer them of this drug?
I hate to be sarcastic, but sometimes I like for smile. I like things like over the smile. Na joblo jabla. The police approach na joblo jabla. On one hand, they give notice to one person where they go raid. On the other hand, Let me just use 2 case studies. There are 2 women, unfortunately. I don't see no feminist group that they put statement. The one get for do with Admire Bio, the other one get for do with Natasha Beckley. They are 2, well, socially exposed persons, whether one financially or politically exposed is another thing. In one case, Admire Bio is giving prior notice. In another case, Natasha Beckley is giving belated notice. So they are inconsistent. And Pancreo, if you want to find Creole word for police approach to the fight against drugs, now Joblo Jabla. Yeah, Joblo, Obaanda Jabla. They are not consistent at all. One size is not fitting all. They are sacred cows, as mentioned by President Bio, and the system seemingly is compromised.
Well, this is one thing where if you put onto any government official, then the challenge is say progress on the fight against drugs as far as they're concerned, and not sound like how the media they make it look like.
Oh, I agree with that point there that we might be overblowing the issue, but that's not true. It's like they see the body that they don't ask. It's one day the body safe. Although they may or not tell we actually the cause, it say he use one word, hypothetically, one big grammar. You know, he may have a very good part big English. He use one big English, which means to say it cannot be proven. However, Usai Council, they say they don't try for get our body in the streets. Usai mortuary, they say they take no unidentified corpse. This is about loss of lives. We look at them just as the drug, but the impact is loss of lives, not the seriousness. And if government is say one thing, institution and not forget a program, a collective approach towards the government. Council will tell you say, now we act for collect the body. Ministry mortuary they tell you say, and also with duty. We don't even have a comprehensive plan as to how to go about this problem. It's serious. It's the biggest show of political willingness. And I will repeat, President Bio has and is failing on the war on drugs.
The opposition, don't they come through for play their own part, for make government sit up, say this is a problem, this is affecting us as a country? Because themselves get a role for play, they are part of government.
Unfortunately, they don't have the numbers. But unfortunately also, they can explore more means in summoning government officials, heads of those institutions to come to parliament. But again, now SLPP they run the parliament. So even if you go tell the leader of government business, say, want someone, NDLA or immigration, it's about how they're willing for do that. But the opposition, I think what they can do is to raise a lot of awareness using facts and data. Unfortunately, Mayor Akisoya try, but himself, it's like he say, a chap small. Because when you get them figure on the number of deaths, and now for tell we whether it's proven that na kush or drug they kill them. And they chap small. But that was the finest opportunity where the opposition come close for expose the government's ineptitude. If you look at Mayor Akisoya's statements, it generally talks say the government not concerned about what's happening. The government is show concern. But waiting Mayor Sawyer not for do if we don't do for be empirical. Now for say okay, they want to go beg. In fact, waiting Mayor Sawyer do for self, he exposed Freetown City Council. It's just say they go beg. Like I don't know we seen in that video, where they go beg person and the shake. It's just say council they go beg people that don't know waiting kill them. It's disastrous. It's atrocious. Follow the bad people who don't know what to kill them. Then you are coming out politically now to your question as there be much more political force from the opposition on the subject matter. They have, like I always say, if Mayor Akisoya from don't patient small number with that statement, they give statistics, give data. Say out of that 200 so from the test we do now so involving Kush. Then the opposition get a strong document, but they are just also flying on the wind. The government talk about this, they don't even qualify whether an epidemic or a pandemic or just a problem. We don't know. So the opposition self can be empirical, but again, they are limited because they're not getting number. And Sierra Leone one will not see. If me not a member of the opposition, I should be moving a motion that they will summon the president of parliament for question time. Summon the president, not to no minister, not to nobody. Summon President Bio said he can't snap now the well of parliament. Ask him the questions around the pandemic. What he don't say. In fact, then a parliament talk about the same problem. Someone
is that possible under the parliament where we see so now?
Yes, 20% of MPs can summon a session of parliament.
Yes,
and
taking then at the constitution or the standing orders of parliament. But when you look at the political dynamics, the composition of how politics they play in a salon, a lot of politicians they hold them party them to high esteem rather than the country. You dey imagine a scenario Usai SLPP MP go join opposition and say, let we call the president for question time, like what do they see now the parliament of South Africa?
Again, if that government MP in Peking affected by this, which they talk so, it go ready for doing. This also goes to the personal law. When you talk about government institutions, it's about personal. If you MP, you begin to face this kind of problem, or any of your relative, or your village, or your constituent that face this problem, you ought to do that. That's where that's the dichotomy between politics and governance. I agree. In Sierra Leone, taboo for the APC vote against APC or SLPP vote against SLPP. But the social nature of this problem, again, it comes to the question, we need a bipartisan approach. SLPP will not solve the problem. In fact, they are just failing. They need the complement of the opposition. You need a bipartisan approach. Call authorities. Of course, area. We don't want to see. I don't know if it ever happened at parliament for MPs summon the president, which I think we should be doing if we want to enhance with democracy. Let the president come and explain, because everything the president does, it's at his cozy, at his own whims and caprices. Let somebody then they with the urger or with the spur. In this case, we don't have it, so we have the media and civil society, and we're going to use it effectively for that.
So it don't reach that point where you think, say, citizens or parliament for all presidents be accountable for this particular drug and other drug-related substance them where if Fibalek it ravage Sierra Leone.
I don't know if Fibalek, I say so. Now I say so in statements. You know, the government know the problem. The President Bio and government they highlight all the problems. They know, and in fact they outline all the approaches for solver. So for we Combra them, I use Combra. I mean I'm a parent of 3 boys, so I know what this problem is. I am in a community. I'm a community activist and leader. Thank you for reaching this country. Like I can say for now, a political issue, maybe election for can. Thank you for can come and get for upset. One day they will come out on the streets for tell President Bio that the actions are not enough on this fight. Come and they swear every day, Khadija. Me, I did live with the grassroots. I know what they are feeling. Come and they swear every day, and the one that they swear, now the one that will get power for stop and not the stopper. We don't know one and day. We all know that one and day. Now the elected authorities begin from number 1.
Deliberate from the side on our resources not enough and the fight against drugs.
It is deliberate because of lack of willingness.
The agency was supposed for implement certain laws then they will say nothing on they not get vehicle, they not get money, talk to the ministry, the same complaint all the time.
It is deliberate because if you want fair drug super one, you will give the resources to the institutions then they. It is deliberate because they know all these problems exist, but they are not solving it. It is deliberate because these are not new things. And what is new is that no action tangible has been taken. None. None. And it's very, very unfortunate. Very.
Alia, you make a statement say if the SLPP-led government not be careful, now this drug allegation with on them, get for pull their power. And I ask you the question about the role of the opposition. For you believe say they not get the numbers for take the necessary line of action for all governments accountable. But again, somebody else go to wonder maybe they go on for use them as a political advantage. Say let we not talk, let we left them wait and come for elections. We use them against them.
Then the opposition is wicked. You know, I mean, electorally was almost, you know, what's person go to left Denton and they for go vote for you. You know, once the of them drug big ones they go don't get money, we go say they will for influence the election for let you not win. So they are doing themselves a disservice if they see and lock here and lock more, let them feel no more, not to business, whoever can use them for campaign. Do you know, in fact, you say when you say you get for campaign, if you go for campaign due to this drug problem? So it's a miscalculation. This that they SLPP wrong when them politicize the fight on drugs. It's not a political fight. It's a concerted fight, and the president will see that. But unfortunately, from the one that we see then the tight part of the drug, it's either what I call Biggie 10 or Uda. Now we see people and when they say and brother and sister and family and the government, then take strong action against them. It's serve time. Other person afraid. But if the opposition says, I think yes, that numbers Khadija alone or let me know. We will set agenda on these numbers, on the framing and thing. We will be very careful. Not having the numbers doesn't mean that you should not raise your voice or you should not trigger actions. Let them fail and you use that tomorrow.
The voice is not loud enough currently.
I think it can be amplified more and more.
How?
It's not just about go and calling a press conference. There are actions, there are motions in parliament you can trigger, be it for ministers or institutions, or in fact the presidency, that might be substantial in its outcome, not just that, not all things the APC will win in the numbers.
Yesterday we talked to the opposition leader in our parliament, Honorable Abdul Kagbo, where one thing we make mention of now calling on the institution and our government for ensuring them do proper auditing for no audits and all salon diplomatic passports. And just yesterday evening, we see the immigration department don't issue a release, and part of what they talk there now this same auditing where the opposition make mention of.
That is a call. There's a difference between a call and a motion. If you table a motion specifying the questions that you want the immigration department to answer, the chief immigration officer, or in this case, because he's not a minister, the internal affairs minister, you table your questions, you bring him to the well, you ask him these questions, he responds, and the people of Sierra Leone see that the opposition don't do their work. So it's not just a call. Again, with all due respect to the opposition leader, that's a lame duck call, because there are tools in your purview that you can use to trigger actions. It's a word and a mouth thing. Motions. Parliament deals with motions. Move motions. So once the chief immigration officer, once the minister of internal affairs, or move it, the biggest motion when no opposition leader ever move a motion that you want for someone, the president, to come and answer questions and answers here. Let the SLPP, the lawyer, then go tell you now, say it's possible or not possible. But the opposition just it goes beyond the media. There's a difference between policy and policy action. The opposition, they are very good in making policy statements. Oh, bandit limitation not good. Oh, power sharing is not good. Those are policy statements. You take it to the next step, what is called policy action, which I don't think the opposition leader, with all due respect to him, that is what is needed now. Policy action. Let the opposition move a motion that we want to see whosoever on this matter. The opposition has got the power even to summon persons of interest. They have committee. When was the last time the Committee on Social and Affairs or Committee on Health had a joint session on this problem? When? What was contained in their report if there was a very first meeting, which we believe Senate we don't get? With their reports. So the parliament says, what the opposition leader, that's not just politics, not just like, well, Ion, until I call, I think he needs to make action. I think Akisoya do little well for threatening action, say the not action past the government. I think those are the kind of policy actions needs to be backed up with statements.
Yesterday, the immigration department don't pull a press release informing the public, say the president don't instruct them for do audits, for set up an investigation. But knowing this SLPP government with investigation and how reports then they delay, should citizens be hopeful, say, this time around, reports go come out where everybody go read after this audit? Because IG said then they do investigation on Umar Sharif. The president set up a task force where they do investigation, declare state of emergency. Now you say for over 1 year, nobody know again from the table then declare state of emergency. Now another audit again. According to immigration department, the president don't ask them for do audits. Anything serious will come out of this?
I think the president the babysits in failing officials. Where there is strong political will, the people in our office force therefore don't suspend them, subjected to investigation. Immigration department. Immigration department. The heads then they under suspension now, an independent team from ACC, audit service. We don't even go take expert there.
But the president been sacked the post will be the head the immigration department and replace her with somebody else.
What's happening? Sack no more. Salon sack na common thing. The sack possible for do bad or no investigation on the alleged bad. That was again insignificant. You sack the man, whether the man been guilty or not, a day in Aethus. Nobody know. If there was solid political willingness, that man should have been investigated by now report for the common. So the president the BBC, what did they do? So immigration, not only immigration, they are implicated. Go and look State Department reports on overstay and handling of with passports. It is very clear that immigration, not today, not on the SLPP self, don't blame SLPP. Immigration has been under systemic failure from before President Bio kind of power. Then la be honest with her. But waiting, don't be dishonest under President Bio regime. Now that there is no willingness, even when we see iota of evidence, like that party and other thing, and it failed for pursue those leads. Now make President Bio in your administration grand in this thing on drug and cartel last year, in your grand. Because even when they are opponents, where there are leads to go and investigate.
But now one of the people that the video, they lead the drugs fights now, not the agency.
So you just question the political commitment. Now the man will get motuka there, say enable for track, or I get the motuka there.
But the man send a gift. He tell Parliament
and there are suspicion that this gift comes from some cartel. That is the suspicion and allegation. And who investigated that? The ACC, they said enable for tracker. In real seriousness, if President Bio wants to fight this, that man they first, from where he name don't call first, it will be set aside. Enough of we get enough of we get further appointments. You pull him under immigration. Two connected. So in fact, when you join 222, you pull him under immigration, you go put on a drug law enforcement. It's like for say, I don't know. The government should be investigated.
Who there for investigate the government?
There are international bodies. Interpol can investigate people in the government perceivably or allegedly or really involved in government. They can do that. But again, you ask me that the government is willing to let that out. So we have institutions like OCCPL. We have investigative journalists. I mean, we need to come out.
Same body don't put reports out, don't expose even the former immigration officer. They don't tell we about houses the way he buy in the United States. This is the only material for the President Bio use for take action against them people there.
Circumstantial evidence can be also used. So if the SEC was serious, these are things they should not let go under the bridge. Then for them go to the bottom. Not for can give vague excuses that you cannot ascertain. Outcomes. So the nexus, again, I'm talking about the nexus, immigration to drug law enforcement agency. And when you watch what international anti-drug institutions are saying, there's a nexus. Because imagine if you all person in diplomatic passports, you get immunities traveling. So if that person in the travel drug, when I sell with us, President Bio, one ambassador, allegedly, according to Guinea, in vehicle, then they engage drug day. What's up with the ambassador? Now pull on them was he ever investigated, or whoever you wait up to the driver or the vehicle or anything like that?
So this press release we see yesterday, way for the government now an attempt to address the issue we just happened recently regarding salon diplomatic passports. Is it going to be a business as usual?
Yes, nothing will come out of it. There is no political willingness. This is not the first time such is coming up on the handling of our passports or diplomatic passports from the days of MPRC. And in fact, if you go the next source, President Bio get more experience when it comes to passports matters because he has been there. So for me, immigration, now the reverse of the happen. Right now, for they know what's now they to call what's for people. We are not serious in this fight. We are not serious. For the fact that allegation is surfacing globally, automatically the immigration department should be in hot waters. People should be summoned. People should be suspended. So
you not believe they're able to handle this investigation and come out with something?
Well, now you go mark your own paper. You be playing referee. Immigration and the suspect, then the investigator.
So what if
it's just childish?
What if the current immigration boss say, I just take over, I inherit all of them problems?
That's not an excuse. It's an institution. Now in one goodie, but there are people before him. It's an institution. You have operators playing their role before he came there. He's just a political figurehead. Before him, the others. So that is not an excuse. It just shows that the government is not committed. We are. Anybody who talk for this government or for come after me, show me the comprehensive plan on Kush or drug abuse or the cartel. You don't have none, and the government is not serious. And President Bio is failing, and this will be one of his worst legacies. And if he does not take them, this might be one of the issues that might kick the SLPP out of power because Sierra Leoneans more come brother. My man and they swear, and that's where they're not for them grown.
All right, many thanks, Melvin. We join with this morning for come analyze some of the issues them we don't happen at the country. We get for do with drugs and other drug-related substance them where Salon don't constantly day on the radar and allegation and they out there say the country they harbor a drug fugitive from the Netherlands, although the Netherlands don't write to the Salon government for extradite this particular individual. We will continue for make efforts for get the authority they will involve for come and speak to some of their allegation there and give a clear picture to the citizen them outside the country they go now. We campaign the fight against drugs and other drug-related issues them. Many thanks, Melvin, we join with this morning at this edition of the Breakfast Show. As always, now a pleasure for get you for do you brilliant analysis them we don't do over the years. Well, continue for the with me at the Breakfast Show.